Hello, and welcome to Your County Government. I'm Gregg Moore, Chair of the Eau Claire County Board of Supervisors, and it's my pleasure today to have with us Kathryn Schauf, our County Administrator here in Eau Claire County. And welcome, Kathryn, to the program, and also welcome to Eau Claire County. I know you just started in July of 2015. Why don't you take a moment to tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourself and your background before you coming to Eau Claire.
Thank you. I actually began my career in printing and publications management. And most people would say, well, how did you start there and then end up in county government? And it was one of those journeys that I found that the skill sets that I acquired throughout my work in the private sector actually have served me well in the public sector as well. After working for a number of years in the private sector in management positions, I made the switch to county government and found that it was extremely fulfilling. From the standpoint of everything that you do on a daily basis makes a direct impact on the people that you're serving. And that's a good feeling to know that you have the ability to do that. And so I began my career in Sauk County. Baraboo is the center of the Sauk County area, and I served there for 15 years, 10 years as the administrative coordinator, the chief executive officer of the county.
Great. Well, once again, welcome, and glad you're here in Eau Claire. Before telling us about what you do as county administrator, why don't you give the viewers a brief overview of the range of services that the county provides to the citizens?
Certainly, and Eau Claire County is representative of the other 72 counties in the state of Wisconsin in many ways, but also has some really unique features that other counties are not quite as progressive in. Most people are familiar with highway operations, the sheriff, the safety provided by the sheriff's department, as well as the jail operation. And they see those folks on a regular basis. Some of the other services they may not be as familiar with, but that are equally important, are those that are provided in human services, that provide for health, safety, and welfare, but in a little different way than your highway would or your sheriff's department. But again, vital services. County government is actually two things. It is a provider of service on behalf of the state of Wisconsin, as well as a local level of government. And that is what makes it unique in local government. It is the only local government that actually provides those services on behalf of the state. And it is with that that it has the construction that it has. So in Eau Claire County, there's a board of supervisors with 29 members, and they are the individuals who represent the interests of the locality or the people that we serve. They are the ambassadors for county government. They're out there, they're working with citizens, they're listening to them, hearing about what their concerns are, and then bringing those issues back and being that interface between what their constituency wants and what the state of Wisconsin is legislating and creating local laws that reflect those desires. And so the Board of Supervisors, as that policy-making body, oversees county government, and it's a $100 million enterprise and a local municipal government. So it is very, very large. And as we noted, there are a number of services that folks are familiar with and also those that they aren't as familiar with. It's different in many ways from what most people are familiar with, the city government and some of those direct services that cities provide. So, but we work cooperatively with the cities in the provision of many of our services. That is one of the unique qualities of Eau Claire County, is that Eau Claire, the city, and Eau Claire County provide services jointly, whether it's through the communication center, the health department, and they also work collaboratively behind the scenes with purchasing in order to save the taxpayers money.
Great, thank you. And the communication center, that's the 911
that is correct.
Center, when
yes.
people call
Thank
911.
You. Yes.
Yeah, just to be sure
yes.
everybody understands that. So county government, similar to federal government, and the state government has three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. county board is the legislative branch, the circuit courts, the judicial branch. In the executive branch, unlike an elected governor or elected president, has an appointed administrator. At least that's what we have here. Correct. And the administrator, of course, serves at the pleasure of the county board and is appointed by. And why don't you tell us about what the county administrator does as the chief administrative officer overseeing the branch to carry out the services, if you will.
Yes. From a day-to-day standpoint, there is no one day that looks the same as the next. And that's actually one of the beauties of the work, is that it is constantly changing. As you noted, the administrator works on behalf of the board and is responsible for taking that policy that's developed by the board and making sure that it's implemented within the departmental level. And so working with the board is done through strategic planning as well as through the legislation that the board is proposing. The interaction between administration and the board also happens at the time that the budget is prepared, and the county administrator works with the Finance and Budget Committee as well as the board as a whole to develop that budget on a year-to-year basis. That oftentimes is very critical because, of course, that's where we identify the needs of the communities, set the tax rate, and decide what that significant work is that the county will be undertaking on behalf of the citizens. The administrator also provides guidance and leadership for the different departmental areas within county government, and we have 24 different departmental areas, so it is very diverse. Most organizations are in business for a singular purpose. County government has multitudes of purposes, whether it be in county health, planning, development, conservation, economic development. There is a whole host of areas in which county government actually provides service on behalf of citizens and also in many ways helps to lead and work with other levels of government in order to provide the kinds of development that the citizens of Eau Claire County expect.
You had mentioned, thank you, you mentioned 24 different departments. Now some of those are appointed department heads.
Correct.
And others are elected, but you're working with both types of officials, so constitutional officers such as the sheriff or the county clerk or whatever, as well as the appointed department heads. Correct?
Oh, definitely. We work collaboratively regardless of whether or not they're elected or appointed. That, of course, is set by state statute and the Constitution. But one of the things that I believe Eau Claire County enjoys is having a good work group, and a work group that works collaboratively, whether elected or appointed. And I think that that's part of the dynamic ability that the county has in moving forward solid programming. And I think one of the examples of that is really when you look at the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. That is emblematic of the type of working together that occurs in Eau Claire County. You have the district attorney, you have the sheriff, you have, as elected officials, you have appointed officials in the Human Services Director and others who work together to find solutions to some of those can be called wicked problems of society, so that we as a county are not simply saying, well, it's our job to find individuals who have problems with alcohol and other drugs, or that have issues and are part of the criminal justice system, and simply run them through that system. It actually says, let's take a look at some of the root causes that bring people into this system and see if through the application of evidence-based decision-making, we can find some of those strong solutions that are actually going to benefit not only our local area, but also it has the potential to benefit other areas as they replicate some of that programming. And I think that's a really good example of where county government has been a leader in helping to frame what the future may be for dealing with some of those very difficult issues, such as methamphetamines.
You mentioned collaboration within the system, the criminal justice system, and I know departments, there's a lot of work. The Veterans Office Veterans Services, working with the Aging and Disability Resource Center. Outside of the county, what does the county administrator do in terms of working and communicating and interacting with other elements of our community outside of county government.
Outside of county government per se,
yeah.
yes.
So I'm
Actually,
thinking EDC, chamber, other
Correct.
kinds of things. Yep.
The administration department, and particularly the administrator, spends a lot of time actually working with our partners. And we have a very good working relationship with the city of Eau Claire, the city of Altoona. I believe that the county has a good, solid working relationship with the towns and other local governments. We also spend time, and I also spend time, conversing with members from the school district as well, and the legislature, as well as the Economic Development Corporation here in town. We have relationships with the university, with the technical college, all of those possible, in many cases, not-for-profit entities that have a role in helping to define what this community looks like. We work very directly, and I work very directly with the folks that lead those agencies to have regular conversations about what is on the horizon, what do they see as trends, and working together to identify potential issues and or opportunities where we can work together to make things happen. And I think that one example of that is actually the Confluence, which is a very recent development, but one which will be positive for this community. One of the more recent is also the development of the property that the university is going to be developing for its event center. And the county, of course, is able to play a role in that we are able to offer assistance with grant opportunities. And so those areas where we can bring our own unique ability to play, to make something happen in the community, is where county government puts its foot forward and says, yes, we'll be part of that solution.
So it sounds like you put out daily fires as well as try to keep a perspective, a long-term perspective on where the county government should be going and the community should be going.
Very much so.
So, well, just to wrap up, what's your impression of Eau Claire now that you've been here for a few months here?
It's a lovely community. I am an outdoor enthusiast, and the natural beauty here is stunning. And the opportunities to get out and play are wonderful. And so from that aspect, you couldn't ask for more. It's also a very exciting community and an exciting time to be here, because there is such energy right now with the development that you see happening and the desire of groups of people that come together in this community to actually work on community, even when they're not necessarily charged with it. It's really exciting, and it is unique, and something that I believe the Eau Claire community should be proud of, because I think that it is not necessarily that way everywhere else in the state, and it does attract folks to this area. You have a great sense of place.
Great. Well, good. Well, thanks you for being here today, and it's been wonderful for the audience to meet you.
Yes.
I've met you, of course, but Kathryn Schauf, County Administrator for Eau Claire County. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a good day.
The mission of the Eau Claire County Board is to provide quality and responsive services and programs aimed at protecting the public safety, health, and economic security of our residents in a cost-effective manner through innovation and leadership. Your county government is produced through the facilities of Chippewa Valley Community Television in cooperation with the Eau Claire County Board of Supervisors. For more information about the Eau Claire County Board and how they aim to help the residents of Eau Claire County, go to www.co.eau-claire.wi.us.